Mm, mm. All right. We are live. I hope everyone can hear
Yay!
us and see us. Hey everyone, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Yes, I am in a different location from yesterday, but I just moved downstairs and there's no baby. Yay! Oh my gosh. Y'all don't know how I feel. Not to be strapped to that baby right now. I love her to death, but oh my god. She's cute as a button. She really, really is, but she is ultra trying, ultra trying. All right, but she is asleep, so hopefully she's gonna nap through this whole thing. So I wanted to welcome everyone. I'm Carol J. Dunlop, the online wow strategist, and this is my biz bestie, Nadine Mullings, the best marketing strategy. And she doesn't say it to boast, but she really is the best marketing strategist. It is an acronym for what she does. And together we make up the best marketing team ever. I'm just telling y'all. Y'all better realize.
And she says that to brag.
Yes. Y'all will recognize we are the ones. So today, I don't know if you joined us Tuesday or not. And if you're joining us live, welcome. If you're joining us on the replay, welcome. I don't know if you joined us Monday or Tuesday or not, but we were talking about, if you're still thinking about your podcast, you need to go ahead and get it done, and why you need to get it done, and how many podcasts are out there. I mean, Oprah has one, Michelle Obama has one. I think that even Trump might have one. I don't know. He probably does. I don't know. But so many people have podcasts now. You might as well jump on that bandwagon and get your podcast going. Because if you don't, guess what's happening? People are not going to really know how to find that trust factor. I mean, you could do a lot of things with a podcast is awesome. They will not get to see you every single week being your most awesome, most best self. And guess what? You leaving money on the table. We don't need to do any of that, especially not in 2021, right, Nadine? We don't need to leave money on the table, honey. Mm-mm.
Definitely.
Yeah, we need to get all the coins that we can as they rain down from us from heaven above, or as they're thrown out on the gravel so we can pick them up. We need to get all the coins, and I'm ready to do that. We're ready to tell you how to do that because today, guess what we're talking about? How to make money with your podcast. Is that a new concept,
Mhm.
making money with your podcast, Nadine? You think?
It's not new. It's not
Mm-mm.
new. It really isn't. I think since the podcast started, people were making money from it, right? So it's definitely
Yeah.
not a new concept.
Right. If they do it the right way, and if they do it the way that Nadine and I teach you to do it, you can definitely make money from your podcast. So we're going to start out, in case you didn't see us or hear us or whatever, with our stories. I'm going to start telling you a little bit about me, my podcasting journey. Then I'm going to turn it over to my biz bestie, Nadine. She's going to tell you, and then we're going to get into that money thing. I'm telling you. So here's my podcasting journey. I started podcasting in 2009. It wasn't even double digits um in the thing. It was like a newborn, like whatever, 2000s, brand new 2009. Girlfriend of mine sent me a podcast that she did. Just it wasn't even called a podcast. It was like an interview that she did with someone. I was immediately hooked, and I was like, "How did you do that? How did you know to do that? Where did you find out about that?" And she told me at that time she was using Blog Talk Radio. So I jumped on that bandwagon really quickly. Within 2 weeks, I had it all down packed. And guess what I was using? My regular old telephone, not even my cell phone, but the regular old telephone that went into the wall. Hey, do we even have any of those? I don't know. But anyway, I did it that way. And then, of course, I did move to using my cell phone. And then I was using the audio in my computer. I kept that podcast. That was my very first one. I kept it for 10 years. And I actually
Wow.
built up the traffic to it to 10,000 downloads a week. What? I had some amazing guests. I partnered with people like eight-time Mr. Olympia, Lee Haney. It was called Fit for Life Radio, so it was a fitness podcast. I had so many doctors and OBGYNs, medical doctors, mental health doctors, and professionals on there. And it really did a lot for me and the business that I was running at that time. and I wound up helping other people start their podcasts as well. So now I'm on my, I believe this is my fifth podcast. I may have lost count. I think this is my fifth podcast, Authority Creators, that launched last year. It's a year old. Oh my gosh, wow. And along the way, I've brought some people like my biz bestie, Nadine Mullings. You know, I couldn't have a biz bestie and not have them have a podcast. Something happens with people when they get around me, they just want to do a podcast. So, I was like, hey, let's do it, right? So from that day to this, I'm still in love with podcasting. I think it's one of the best marketing tools you can use out there. Now I'm going to turn it over to Nadine and allow her to tell her story about podcasting.
Yeah, definitely. Well, first of all, thank you. If you are watching on the live, thank you so much for watching us on the live. If you're watching on the replay, welcome and thank you so much for watching on the replay. I do encourage you, if you did not see our Facebook Live on Tuesday, where we were talking about podcasts and all the stats and reasons why you should start your own podcast, I do encourage you to watch that I was going to say that episode. I'm so used to saying episodes like I'm on my podcast, but that
Yeah.
Facebook Live that we streamed on Tuesday, because so much good information in that. This, again, I was going to say episode. This Facebook Live is all about monetizing. So we are talking about cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching on this particular
Hmm.
Facebook Live. But to share a little bit about my story, I am actually a baby podcaster. I don't have 10 years under my belt like Carol does, and I'm not on my fifth podcast like she is. I actually just launched my first podcast last year, and this month, September 2021, is my 1 year anniversary. So I am officially 1 years old in this
Yay.
podcasting space. But this has been such an amazing and powerful marketing strategy that I just had to partner up with Carol to really promote it and talk about why podcasting can be so powerful as an entrepreneur and as a business owner. Some of the information and stats that I shared in the first Facebook Live broadcast was the three main things that I've achieved in the 1 year. Remember, I'm just new to this. In the 1 year of launching my
Hmm.
podcast, is I've increased my website traffic significantly just by having a podcast on my website. So that's one of the strategies that we talk about and share in our masterclass that we do talking about podcasting. But it really is one of those things people always talk about. What's a great way to increase traffic to my website? Actually having a podcast will do that,
Right.
because I have seen it with my podcast. It has increased and 4x the amount of traffic that I had coming to my website. The second thing that has really been significant in the 1 year that I've had my podcast is the increase to my email list. Again, another strategy that we teach about in our podcast creation masterclass is using your podcast to also build your email list, which is another
Right.
question that a lot of people have for us is, how do I get more subscribers on my email list? Because your email list as an entrepreneur and a business owner is one of your best assets in your business. Most valuable asset is having an email list of people that are interested in your content and your information. And a podcast can really help you to increase your email list. And the third and final thing that has happened in just the 1 year that I have been podcasting is it has increased my revenue, which is what this particular session is all about, the money side of podcasting. And it has increased my revenue by, of course, getting new clients in my business specifically because of the podcast. So my podcast story is a shorter one than Carol because I'm a baby podcaster, but the impact and the income and the influence that I've seen in podcasting in just 1 year of podcasting has been amazing. So that really is my podcast story.
That's a great story. And really, I think you started to actually get results from your podcast way before your 1 year, maybe like
Mhm.
within 3 months or something like
True.
that. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Very
It
true.
doesn't take long. It doesn't take long because when you
Yeah.
get the right theme, the right podcast, the right subjects, the right guests, or if you're going to, the right subjects that you talk about, people are going to naturally gravitate toward it and want to be a part of it, want to listen to it, want to download. And number one, want to buy from you because they want to get more from you, get more products, get more
Mhm.
services, get closer to you, whatever it is. So that's what we're here to talk about today. And we're going to jump right in because we're not about fluff. We're about taking action and being real. So the things that we talk about today are the things that we do in our own podcast right now. I've done them pretty much from the beginning because when I started podcasting, I looked at it as a way to market my business. I mean, it was like awesome. And the first thing I wanted to do was get those guests on there who already had an audience or who were, I just really liked them so that my people could understand, hey, this person knows what she's talking about. She is the authority. And one thing I did want to say, once you build up that audience, no matter if it's podcasting or whatever, but specifically podcasting, because they are listening to you talk and, spew your awesome knowledge all over the place, it really becomes a community. And when I went through my husband's stroke in 2011, and then 6 months later, my diagnosis with breast cancer, I shared it with my audience. I mean, if you go back and listen to those old episodes, they're still up there on Blog Talk Radio right now. I have not taken them down and I won't. I will keep it out there. I mean, you're going to hear me crying and boohooing and saying, I don't know, God, why did this happen or how did this happen or whatever. And people will call in to me and email me and get in touch with me and say, Carol, it's okay. We love you. And when I wasn't there for a minute, they're like, what happened? And I would tell them, look, I was going through chemo. So is a great way to build up community. But the first thing that we want to talk about that people don't really talk about that much is, and these all begin with C. I'll let you know we love the iterations. This is talking about your commercial. Now, I know you know what a commercial is, right? You watch TV, you even probably listen to terrestrial radio. That's the regular radio on the dial in your car or whatever. But more and more people are listening to podcasts right now. And we talked about that on Tuesday with the stats that we put out there about how popular podcasting is. So your commercial is where you inform people of how they can get more of you or how they can download something from you or how they can get more whatever. And you have to put that in there because the first thing that most of the time, the first thing that people say, how am I gonna, monetize this podcast? I need sponsors. Well, let me tell you, sponsors have their own agenda. And I'm not saying anything against having sponsors, but sponsors do have their own agenda. And when they come on your podcast and they play their commercial or whatever, they're trying to get people to buy their stuff, right? So what if you forego the sponsors? I mean, you can always have them if you want, but also in that kind of transaction with them talking about their stuff, they're going to want you to probably maybe change some of your content to cater to whatever it is that they're trying to get people to buy. And if you are really, gun ho about what you do, because I know you are, because you are a brilliant creator, you're leader, you're probably spirit led. If you're listening to us here and you've heard us talk about this, you have a thing that you want to do. You know where you want to go with your business and for getting this podcast out there. And to have someone come in and say, hey, why don't you put a little bit more of this in there? Why don't you talk a little bit more about that? That could really kind of compromise what you're trying to do. So if you put your own commercial in there, advertising your own products or services in every single episode, you have that commercial in there, then people are going to say, what was that link that she said? Or what were those numbers that they said to text? Or what is that thing that she's giving away? I want that. And once they get it, if maybe it's even a coupon code, they get 10% off, 20% off, whatever, just for listening. Or maybe it's something that they have to download, or maybe it's something that is going to really help them solve a problem. Once you help someone solve a problem, whether it's buying a product or a service, they're kind of indebted to you for a long time. And that's why having your own commercial works. And that's why really monetizing with your own commercial that you're putting on there, that's gold. Gold. Wouldn't you say, Nadine?
Yeah, I would definitely. So many things you said that were key. I love that you said spewing information. For some
Yes.
reason, when you said spewing information, I just got this visual of like throwing up information
But good stuff.
everywhere.
Good stuff.
Good
Good stuff.
stuff, exactly. So it was interesting choice of words, spewing information.
You
I would
know.
also say, it gave me a visual. I'm not sure why,
Yeah.
but it gave me a visual. I would also say that terrestrial radio. I was like, what is that? So I didn't even realize that's like old fashioned radio. So I just
Yeah,
had to
that's what they
point
call
out,
it. That's what they call it, terrestrial.
yeah,
Because they wanted
I
to
didn't even
differentiate it from
realize that.
podcasts and stuff like that.
Yeah, I didn't even know that. So you're always full of the amazing nuggets and awesome
Thank
words.
you.
So yeah, I totally agree with you. Having your own commercial and promoting your own products on your podcast is one of the best ways to monetize, and a technique and strategy that both Carol and I have used and have gotten results from. So I
Mhm.
110% agree with you. I think the second piece that is really key to actually monetizing your podcast is actually getting clients, right?
Mhm.
Getting
Yep.
clients from your podcast. So there are three key ways that you can get clients from your podcast. The first is content. So Carol actually covered commercials, but even the content that you're sharing. If you have a solo podcast and you're sharing content, people are just naturally interested in what you're saying and what you're
Mhm.
doing and want to learn more, right? So sharing that content actually allows you to monetize subtly. Commercial is more in your face, like I'm selling you
Mhm.
this, this is a commercial, but
Yeah.
just the content alone can subtly sell your product and monetize your podcast. So the content that you share is a way that you can monetize your uh, podcast subtly. The second way you
Mhm.
can monetize your podcast to create clients is also through the people that you invite on your podcast. So if you
Mhm.
have a podcast where you interview people, a lot of times you're building relationships with the people that come on your podcast and interview with you. And a lot of times in building those relationships, they're long-term relationships that eventually can turn into clients. That has happened to Carol, that has happened to
Mhm.
me, and it's an opportunity. If they're not even clients, they could be future collaborators, which is what we're
Right.
going to talk about next for
Yeah.
monetizing. But bringing people on and talking to them and interviewing them on your podcast can potentially create clients, because this strategy is all about clients. So, content, the people that you bring on to interview, and then shining in your lane. Once you launch a podcast, people are paying attention. I've actually gotten clients that were interested in starting their own podcast because they
Mhm.
saw my podcast. So, just
Right.
in having your podcast and shining in your lane creates clients. So whether it's the content you share, whether it's the people you interview, or if it's just because you're just showing up and shining, it actually creates clients, which is a way to monetize your podcast. So I just did something unique there, Carol. I added three C's in our three C's. So
I
talk
know. I noticed
I
that. I
love
got you. I see what
alliteration.
you did there.
So,
I see what you did.
exactly. We are talking about the three C's of monetizing your podcast, and one of the C's is clients. And I just gave you three C's to get clients.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. I also love that shining in your lane.
Yes.
We hear a lot of that, especially from great coaches, right? Stay in your
Mm,
lane. You can't do everything. And I've been binging on The Prophet lately. I love
mm,
that TV show, The Prophet. I've watched it since it began, but I lost out on a couple of years, just, life and stuff like that. So I've been going back and binging, and it is still just as good as ever. And he talks about how staying in your lane, but knowing what your lane is, and knowing, you know how the cars do now. You're driving, and if you veer off a little
mhm,
bit, and it gets you back on. That's what you need to do. And when you're shining in your lane, you're staying straight down what your purpose is, what God has sent you to do in this life, in this world right now, and you're doing
mhm,
that, people will naturally gravitate towards you and want to do it. Some and it's so weird, I guess, I've been looking over my clientele lately and who's been coming to me. And I always
Mm,
knew that they were about my same age and,
mm,
looking at me as, the person, the authority and stuff like that. But I've really seen it become clearer and clearer and clearer. The women who are coming to me right now, and women entrepreneurs, yes, I do deal with male entrepreneurs as well. Few good men who are in my camp right now, but it's mainly women entrepreneurs, and they've lived a great life.
mm,
They're older, just like I am, right around 60 or so, and they're ready to get their word out, get their stuff out, and do their thing. And I find
mm,
that the place that they're lacking is they don't even know what their lane is. They've
mm,
been doing all these things, but they need to know where they're. So when they go off to the left or the right, it gets them back. So when you are
mm,
shining in your lane, people
mhm,
will gravitate towards you, come to you, and want more of you. That's exactly what happened with Nadine when she really, really, really niched down, knew what she wanted to do, knew that she is spirit led, and she wanted people who wanted to be spirit led, women who weren't afraid to talk about faith and business together. It's like the doors just opened. That was it.
mhm.
The
So
doors
true.
just they started running to her. Oh my gosh, where have you been? So we want that for you. And if you
Yeah.
follow what we're talking about, because the thing is, having a podcast is great and awesome and wonderful and all fuzzy and stuff like that. But the main thing is revenue, making money so that you can be the queen bee in your business and live your life the way you want. And you can't live your life the way you want if you ain't got no money. What is it
Mm.
about letting your light shine? It's hard to let your light shine if the lights are off.
If you
You can't
can't
pay the
keep your
light bill.
lights on, if you
Yeah,
can't
yeah,
keep
yeah,
your
yeah.
lights
So
on, yeah.
that's what we're talking about today. Today, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So the final C in our three C's, not just to get clients, but the final C in the three C's that make money is collaboration, which is exactly what Nadine and I are doing right now. Let me give you a little
Yeah.
story behind that. So Nadine and I have known each other for a long time. We met
Mhm,
at a networking event,
mhm,
and we just casually met. And what do you do? What do I do? Oh, we're both in marketing. Normally that
mhm.
would be oh, she's in marketing, I don't want to deal with her. It was not
It's
like that
not.
with us. We
Mm-mm.
always saw each other at that event that we were going to, the meeting and stuff like that, and we always talked, and we said we need to get together. So finally we did. We started talking, and I think within maybe a month or so of us really talking, we had a program that we had put together. Two
Mhm,
marketing people talking about, using our own strengths. We were staying in our lanes and everything, and we still do that to this day. But the collaboration has led to several programs, thousands of dollars, lots of
mhm,
clients, and
mhm.
awesomeness. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Collaboration is key, and I know I've taught a dear friend of mine, Dr. Devia, just recently came out with a book all about collaboration, right? And the
Okay.
power of collaboration. And I had her on my Facebook page, and we had an interview about it, and I was promoting her book because
Hmm.
collaboration is key. It's not about
Hmm.
competition because what
Mm-mm.
God has for you is for you. That's how I live my life. That's
Yeah.
how Carol lives her life. So there's
Hmm.
no need to compete. What's already assigned to you, you will receive because it's a part
Right.
of your assignment. And Carol and I have different ways of teaching, different things that we do. She teaches and talks a lot on social media. I do the same thing. She teaches and talks a lot on email marketing. I do the same thing.
Hmm.
But she has a different flavor, a different way of doing it. So when we come together, it just makes the picture whole. She's
Yeah.
adding her essence, I'm adding my essence, and we're giving that all to our audience. So we never look at it as coming from a space of competition. We
Mm-mm.
always look at it as coming from a place of collaboration. And I kind of alluded to it earlier, but when you have a podcast and you're inviting guests on, a lot of times those guests are colleagues, people in your industry that could easily become collaboration partners.
Yeah.
I've collaborated with several women that have been on my podcast, including Carol, obviously.
Yeah.
So it really is a monetizing strategy for your
Hmm.
podcast that not a lot of people talk about. But we like to share strategies that most people aren't talking about so you can have an idea of how it can work for you. And collaborations is definitely one of those strategies to monetize your podcast.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think My whole business has really been built on collaboration. My very, very, very first collaboration was with my husband when we started this business together. And then we
Mm-hmm.
started doing things that included more people, less people, but our thing is to help entrepreneurs because the entrepreneur lifestyle, honey, it can be so hard. I mean, Nadine and
Hmm.
I have called each other crying sometime or texting, hey, we don't know what's happening, but things aren't going right. And, we
Yeah.
have been there for each other to help each other. And that's
Right.
really what it's about. So we're helping you right now. We're helping you to know a great marketing tool that if you're not doing it, you need to be doing it. If you're still thinking about it, you need to stop thinking and take action. And I wanted to tell you how you can take action right now, and that is by signing up for our podcast creation masterclass that's coming up next Tuesday, well, next week. And you can pick either Tuesday or Thursday. So we wanted to make sure that we made it available for whatever day was best for you. It's going to be 4 p.m. each time. Just go to this website, csicorporation.com/pcm. Sign up. You're going to learn all our secrets in creating a podcast that gets you out there in front of the people you want to get in front of, makes you the authority, and makes you some money, honey. I'm telling you.
Yes. Yeah. And I am so excited. I really look forward to doing masterclass with Carol and really sharing everything that we've learned with whoever attends the masterclass. That really is our goal, for you to walk away with value, to really walk away with value. And we always invite you to go deeper. If you want an opportunity to go deeper, we do
Hmm.
invite you on the creation class to go deeper if you desire to do so. But if you decide not to, we still want you to walk away with awesome, amazing, valuable content that you can apply to start your own
Yeah.
podcast. That really is our goal. So I do encourage you, if you've been thinking about it, considering about it. I shared in the Facebook Live on Tuesday how I was thinking about it and considering about it for years. I'm not a fast action taker like Carol. I'm more of a turtle when it comes to making decisions and taking
Mm.
action. So I sat on it for years. So don't sit on it for years. The other thing I talked about is the importance of being spirit led. We believe in whatever marketing strategies that you do, that it needs to, number one, resonate with you. It's not a guru or
Hmm.
an expert or a coach telling you you need to do this. So we don't come
Right.
from a space of you need to podcast. We come from a space of if it resonates with you, if you really want your voice and message to be heard in the marketplace, and you feel like podcasting is a platform or the way and the strategy that you can do it, then now is your time. Now is your time to join us. Join us in the master class. Sign up for the podcast creation master class. You have two opportunities to
Yeah.
join, like Carol mentioned, next week, Tuesday, which is September 14th. Both classes are at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or next week, Thursday, that's September 16th at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you can join us for the podcast creation masterclass. So if you feel led, if it resonates, if you're interested, if you're curious, whatever the
Yeah.
case may be, go ahead and sign up. The link will be also below, but it's on the screen, obviously, csicorporation.com/PCM for podcast creation masterclass.
Yes, definitely. So if you're ready, or if you're thinking, if you're unsure, if you're like, I just want to see what these two gals are talking about, sign up for the class. It's totally free. There is no charge. You will get an amazing amount of value by being there, by listening, and you'll get the most value by taking action. Whether you take action
Mhm.
with us or you take action on your own, it doesn't matter
Mhm.
because Nadine and I are all about taking action. Nothing, nothing, nothing ever comes when you're sitting there waiting, wishing, and wanting. It's all about taking action. Because even the Bible says, faith without action is dead. So come on now,
Mhm.
showcase your faith.
Right.
And we're not saying this is
Definitely.
this is not part of Christianity or anything. This is part of the world, the terrestrial world, and we're trying to help you get through it because I mean, look at where we are. It's 2021, right?
Mm.
We went through a lot from March of 2020 up until now in the
Mm.
states and in the world. We've gone through a
Mhm.
lot. It's time now for you to shine, for you to, take the reins. I was Nadine, I was looking somewhere. I mean, it's kind of all over the news right now about how all these people are quitting their job and going out and
Mm,
doing their own thing. Even some towns are
mm,
overrun by people who are just working from home, and
mm,
they're just like renting places out and stuff. So come on, those people have decided, they're tired of the job situation. They want to be an entrepreneur. So I
mhm.
mean, we got the jump start on them. We're already entrepreneurs, but now it's time to take your marketing to the next level. So go ahead and sign up for the podcast creation masterclass. You'll learn a whole lot. I promise you. The people who did it before, they learned a lot. You will learn a lot as well. And we'll see you either Tuesday or Thursday. Just go to the link, csicorporation.com/PCM. Sign up, pick your day, and we'll see you on the class.
Yes, definitely. We will see you on the class. Remember that your voice is needed and
Hmm.
necessary in the marketplace today at this very moment. And a podcast is the best way, one of the best ways for you to get your voice out there and your message out there. So we definitely invite you to join us next week. And we are excited to see you on the masterclass.
Yes, definitely. That's all I have for now. What about you, Nadine? Anything else? We're going to let people get out of here.
That is it. I always like to do a recap. So we covered like the three C's of monetizing your podcast. The first C that Carol talked about was having a commercial. The second C that I talked about were three key things that happen to be C's that will allow you to get clients. So it's commercial, clients, and then the third thing we talked about was collaboration. All of these
Hmm.
three things allow you to monetize your podcast and make money from your podcast, which is what this entire Facebook Live session has been about. So sometimes I think it's good to do a recap because
Yeah.
people forget the key points. So
Yeah.
just wanted to recap what we shared and encourage you to join us next week.
Yeah, and the key point, just remember the key point is about making some money. And
Mhm.
I don't have anything against, I mean, even nonprofits. I mean, everybody needs money to work, to do what
Mhm.
they need to do. Nonprofits need money, for profits need money, your business needs money. And if you're looking for a great way that is easy and quick, well, I don't know if I should say easy, but it's kind of easy and quick to for a turnaround and really get your voice out there, get you in the authority chair so that people look at you. A podcast is your thing. If you want to learn how to do it the right way, sign up, and we'll see you next week.
See you
That's
next
it.
week.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.